Welcome. I am your host, Ramonda Jan, the founder of Women Thrive Media, visibility expert, and inspirational speaker. I founded this global community for women so every woman who is starting or running a business can feel like she has found a place to belong. So every woman is empowered to use her voice and share her message with the world. Hello and welcome to today's podcast episode. My name is Ramonda and I am your host for this episode. I'm excited to have our guest today, and today we're talking about how to stop hiding and show up confidently online. So my guest is Melissa Christopher. Hi Melissa, how are you today?
Hello, Ramonda. I'm wonderful. I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
I am good. We're talking today about one of my favorite topics of being visible and showing up confidently. And I'm really excited because one, I know you have a really beautiful and powerful story, and two, your own passion to help others to be visible, which is something we share in common. So for that reason, I'm very excited to have you on our podcast today.
I'm excited to be here.
So, for those of you who perhaps don't know Melissa yet, Melissa Christopher is a best-selling author, visibility coach, and SAG actress that specializes in helping high-level female entrepreneurs become more confident on camera and public speaking stages. So, she's utilizing her years of experience and training as actress to help her clients to unleash their greatest gifts through their authentic presence. So, that is what we're talking about, how to show up confidently. Melissa, welcome to the podcast. Why is this topic so important or so close to your heart?
I believe that this topic is so close to my heart because, I have been a SAG actress for 10 years and a best-selling author and, an entrepreneur with successful businesses, but I wasn't always this way. I really had to overcome tremendous fear and self-doubt, addictions, just so many different layers to feel confident to show up online. And I'm very passionate about helping other women, other entrepreneurs find their confidence, their strength to be seen and heard, because I really had to go through so much to be here in front of you today. And so I want to help others do the same.
Yeah, and I know what a fear looks like. I mean, I've been through some of my own trauma that left me pretty much with no voice and constant I guess self-questioning and doubt. That's such a lonely place to be. So, Melissa, what were the things that perhaps were holding you back that you've learned on your journey, and how did you overcome some of the things that those fears that perhaps were holding you back from being visible?
Yeah, I think that I went through a lot when I was very young, from losing my mother to, childhood abuse, to sexual abuse, to drug addiction, to deal with all of these different pains and all of these different, losses and traumas that I'd gone through. And so I think that those things really held me back for so long. The abuse that I went through, made me believe that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy enough, that I didn't deserve more. I constantly listened to, my stepmom's voice, who abused me, when I was from 5 to 15, and told me every day that I was worthless and was never going to make it, and, stupid. And so all of these voices, all of these things just stayed with me for so long. And I was terrified to kind of redefine that and to give myself permission to be visible, because I for so long believed that these things that other people had said about me were true. And so I think that it really has been a process to work through that, to let go of these layers of fear, to let go of these layers of self-doubt. And I got to a point in my life where it was just very, very dark, and, the addictions had taken over. And I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision that I needed to change my life, or I was not going to be living a life anymore. And that was a very scary decision, but it also was a very empowering moment to say, I am going to be bigger, to be better, to be healthier, to be stronger. I can do this. And in that process, it's been such a journey, such a transformation. And, it's been so many different layers. But I gave myself permission to change. And that's what I'm so passionate about, and helping other entrepreneurs and women do that, because it's possible. No matter what you've been through, no matter what your past is, you get to decide when you want to release your past and create a new future.
Wow. So powerful. And I know perhaps some women who are listening to this right now, they could resonate with that because they may have been through their own traumas, because they may have been told they're not good enough and they should be quiet, and so many things that plays a big role for us women to be able to use our voice. And that's such an intricate part of who we are, and to be empowered. How does it feel to be able to have your voice, to be able to have that freedom? And because you said you've given yourself permission, which is such a powerful statement to say, I've finally given myself permission. I stopped self-sabotaging myself. What was that moment like when you finally decided that, you know what, you come first before any of those things, those doubts or fears or self-sabotage behavior?
It has been amazing. It's felt so good. And I look back and think about how I spent so many years just hiding, so many years in fear, so many years disempowered, so many years scared. And to look at where I am now, and to have my voice, and to feel empowered and confident to help other women come to this space is so amazing. It's just such a gift, such a gift. And I think that, it can be so scary. I mean, I just remember just taking off the layers, layer by layer, just feeling like I was taking off just chains and chains and chains, just all of this stuff that I was wearing that was almost keeping me like down on the ground. It was like I had to just pull all of this stuff off of me to just be this, almost, I see like a lotus, like just this flower that kept wanting to come up, kept wanting to come up. And it was just layer after layer, pulling it off, pulling it off. And when I finally broke through and, got to the surface and started to blossom, it's just been the most beautiful transformation I could ever experience. It's just been a lot of deep healing, a lot of deep transformation. I mean, I'm the same woman I was years ago, but I'm also a completely different woman than I was in my addictions and my fear. And I think it was just having grace with myself, having compassion, and having the courage to allow a different version to come forward, and to no longer be defined by everyone else's expectations and stories and all these things that I listened to for so long, but to really, really begin to hear my own voice, my own truth, and say, I am enough. I am worthy. I am deserving. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Quite the journey.
Oh my goodness, you just given us a whole visual of this lotus flower just blossoming completely into, just being self-empowered. It's such a beautiful place to be after you've held yourself back, or you've been held back by other people. Just having that freedom, it's like as if take a fresh breath air, fresh breath of air, and breathe and allow yourself to be. Because I personally think that every single human being is beautiful in their presence and in who they are. They don't need to hide. They don't need to hold themselves back. They don't need to be afraid to outshine anybody, or even just shine their light. That's my honest truth, and this is what I believe in. But it's those feelings that hold ourselves back. Melissa, I mean, I'm just in awe of you in you stepping into your purpose, into owning that power, because I know there's so many people around the world who want to take that step closer towards being authentically themselves. What would you say to someone who's struggling with that part of themselves right now and wanting to really start that process of blossoming?
Thank you so much. That's such a beautiful question, Ramonda. I would say that it's, I look back at how I just was so much in the darkness for so long, and through addictions, through just pain and trauma and sadness and all of this stuff that I was wearing, kind of like those chains. It was like that was my identity. That was just what I was comfortable with and who I thought I was. And I think that when it finally got so heavy to carry that, when it finally was just, I literally couldn't breathe. I mean, I was at the point of almost dying. I mean, it was just so much that I got to a place of being in basically rock bottom. And as hard as it was, I'm so grateful for that, because it was the catalyst. It was the moment that I had absolutely no choice but to make a different choice and decide to change my life. Now, I don't wish for anybody that they get to a rock bottom point where, the addiction gets so bad that they can't, they overdose like I did, or, you get in a car accident or something so drastic happens that you have no choice to change your life. My wish for you is that I hope that you can know that there's more for you, that voice in your heart, that voice in your head, that spirit, that guide that I always had, that I know that we all have, that's screaming at you to do more, to be more, to show up more. I pray that you listen to that you give yourself permission wherever you are, even if you don't know what that means, to start hearing it, to start listening to it, and to know that it's there for a reason. And it wouldn't be nagging at you, it wouldn't be pulling at you, it wouldn't be guiding you if there was no bigger purpose. And I think we all have a bigger purpose. And for so long, I had heard that voice so many times over and over and over again. And I kind of just pushed it off to the side, because I was like, until there was no other option. And so I think if you're struggling with that, to step into your authenticity, to do the things you want to do, to write a book, to be a speaker, be a coach, start your business, whatever, to leave the relationship, I just want you to give yourself permission to hear it and know that you have more power in your heart, in your soul, than you could even imagine possible, when you just decide to take a small step every day, whatever that is. It begins to grow stronger. I loved this quote. I don't know, I think it was from Women Running with Wolves, a beautiful book. And it says that you have two wolves, and you either feed the dark wolf, the one that is, kind of there, that is your habits, this shadow side of yourself, this darkness, this fear, this doubt, or you start feeding the light wolf, that is your essence, that is your purpose, that is your power. And I remember when I was coming out of the darkness into the light, that dark wolf kept fighting me over and over and over again, because I'd been feeding it for so many years. But when I started stepping into saying, I want more, I want to shine brighter, I want to be bigger, I started feeding the light wolf, and the dark wolf started getting hungry and starving. So that's my recommendation, is how can you begin to feed the light in you, that you wish to create.
Wow. Oof. I felt those words so deeply, like it's come straight from your soul. I feel the passion. Genuinely, I feel the passion, the drive that you have to empower others. And that deep passion usually means we've been through our own darkest moments in our own lives that given us this purpose. And you said it's so right. If something is burning inside of you right now and you have this desire for more in life, because I've been there. I remember being stuck in my old relationship and feeling so stuck. I was like, there's got to be more to life. There's got to be more to my purpose and my mission than I'm not fulfilling it right now. And that leap was so scary. I remember that leap was just like, would I have to change everything? And the answer was yes. You have to change everything. If you want your life to be different, sometimes you gotta take that leap of faith and just tear everything away in order to start rebuilding new. And that was my experience. So when you said that, it's like there's got to be more to life. It's like I felt it. I remember myself a few years back in that moment. I was like, that deep pain inside, knowing you're meant for more, and life doesn't need to shake things up for you before you make that decision to make a leap. So,
Mhm.
Melissa, your purpose, your mantra is to help women shine brilliantly. Tell me more about this mantra and this purpose, this mission behind what you do. I mean, that sounds powerful. Shine brilliantly. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yes. Well, I think, this passion started many years ago because as I mentioned, I lived in the darkness for so long and I didn't even realize that I was in the darkness, but because of the addictions that I went through and just everything, it was like the world began to just close in on me and my light got smaller and smaller and smaller. And there was just a tiny flicker left before I had to make a very different choice and change my life. And so I'm so passionate about this because I think every woman and man, every human being, that we all have a beautiful light, a shining bright in us. And it just makes me so happy to now be in a place of really giving permission to anyone that I can, my clients and people that I speak to and work with, to be fearless and shining bright. And so I started my company in 2017, which is called Bling Bunny, which is all about adding, sparkles and gems to, ski goggles and sunglasses and shoes. And, when I step into a space that might feel scary or overwhelming or like it's the next level, I have a secret that really, really helps me in doing that. And that is really wearing these beautiful shoes that I have that I have encrusted with Swarovski crystals. And it reminds me that, I can step into this next level, that I can shine brilliantly, that I can sparkle, that I can bring the light to me. And it helps me it reminds me to do that. I also do that when when I'm acting, when I go on set and they, say action, and all of a sudden you got to go there, and it can be terrifying. But I bring myself these different moments of how I can step into it. And one way is wearing these beautiful bedazzled shoes that I have. And another way is just remembering that it's such a gift to be in the light versus in, where I was in the dark. And just to remember how important it is to allow that light to shine brilliantly for me and for others, because we are all here to inspire and help one another do that.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. I love
Love
this.
those shoes,
Story. Shine brilliantly. I remember the first time you showed me the bedazzled shoes, and you might want to bring them up for those who are watching on the video, because of course we've got a podcast. Oh my God. They look
Yeah,
like Cinderella shoes, literally.
they are, and I think there's probably like 5,000 Swarovski crystals on these. But it's just one thing that just love so much because they just bring me so much joy. And they remind me of where I've been and where I'm going.
Mm.
And that is just such a beautiful reminder. I have them, in my office, right on um my kind of windowsill, so I can see them every day. And I just really want to inspire others to give themselves permission to step into those shoes,
Yeah.
to
What a,
not let the fear, the pain, your past stories, the trauma, all the things that can be around us that keep us from that, to just begin to like break it down so that the light can start coming in and help you shine. I think that is my biggest mission and purpose in this world.
yeah. Oof, I love it. It's just powerful because knowing to from where you come from that darkness, and almost like your story is almost like a Cinderella story, truly, because you were in that position where you had the mean stepmother that told you you'd never make it. And you had to go through all this, almost wearing all these scrappy clothes in your life and carry all of those pains for so many years. And bit by bit, you've, as I say, you carved out your light and you've started to shine and you started to pursue your purpose and your mission in the work. And I mean, stepping into being an actress, come on. I mean, I speak on stages, I do podcasts and record, do these amazing events. But even me, that would be like the next stretch in my career if I was to ever go into acting. It's like, God, that sounds so scary.
Yeah, it's what's interesting about acting, and I think why I always was so drawn to it, is I used to watch movies so much when I was young to escape kind of the reality, the life that I was in. And I used to watch, actors or films, and I'd always just be like, I can do that, that's what I'm supposed to do. And but I always, they were like a way of making it through, watching great films were just kind of my escape in a way, and going to another world. And so it has always been scary, so much rejection. Sometimes it's just it's a process. It really is a passion and journey. But there's no other job like it in the world. Being on set, it feels like you're in a circus. There's so much just going on, and it's just so amazing to step into your costumes um, and step into those shoes. You really, it's like right before they say action, I'm just so like, oh my god, if I could do this. They say action, and I just drop into it. And so that's really what I want to help my clients be able to find within themselves, whether it's being on set, but mostly just feeling confident with um, just creating content, or sharing their story for the first time, or doing a podcast, or making videos, breaking down the walls of fear and making it so much bigger than it needs to be, and just realizing that you have it all within you. You really, really do.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for the work that you do, because I think it's life changing when we step into our power and our purpose and own our voice and get rid of that fear, because it's just a voice in our heads that says it's not possible, but and you see testimonies of other people who made it possible despite the fear, adversities, bad experiences, the trauma and all the other things that gets in our way. Regardless, it's possible. It's possible for you to overcome all of that.
Yes, it's possible. That's been my tagline. I mean, I love Les Brown and watched him so many times, but I just would say that over and over and over to myself for years. It's possible. It's possible. You got to be hungry. It's possible. I just appreciate, seeing other people that have done it before, that show you that it's possible. Like you, like him, just these trailblazers that have created these movements is so inspiring. And it's been a huge part of my journey to be here is just anytime I feel that doubt, that overwhelm, there's different tricks that you can do. But one big thing that's helped me so much is seeing others and feeling inspired by the work that they're doing and recognizing if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. And just before we jumped on this video, you said to me you had a quote that keeps you inspired all the time. Share that with us today.
Yes, I love this quote. It's by Amanda Gorman. There is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, and if only we're brave enough to be it.
It truly takes bravery to be ourselves and step into those shoes and shine a light. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. I look at that often every day, and I think the thing that I want to leave everyone with is, often we think that just change and transformation and just getting where we want to be just happens, instantaneously. It's like, oh my God, I want to be Oprah. Okay, it's going to happen tomorrow. Or, oh, I want to win an Oscar. Oh my God, it's going to happen tomorrow. And I think that we can feel disappointed or, or discouraged or upset because things maybe aren't happening as quickly as they want them to. But I can say that if you continue to fill your mind with quotes, with watching people on YouTube, with inspiration, with things that inspire you when you feel those moments of doubt, and know that it's a process, and that if you continue to just take small steps, eventually you will get to the finish line. Eventually you'll reach the goal. I mean, with my acting, I've been doing it for almost 15 years, 20 years, 15 years. I can't tell you how many auditions I have had people say no to me for. I mean, at this point, thousands, thousands. And it's hard. But you know what? I just booked my biggest thing I've ever booked on a TV show. And that was because I kept showing up. I kept believing. I am part of this summit. And it's because I took the first step to submit. Small steps of action will lead you to the bigger goal, the bigger dream that you have. You just have to be persistent and patient. But if you believe it and you don't give up, it will happen.
Beautiful. Melissa, I am excited about your talk at the summit. For those of you who don't know yet, you might be watching this for the first time and thinking, what are you talking about? So Women Thrive is actually an amazing platform for people to share their voice. And we have our annual Women Empowerment event that happens every March. This year in 2023, we have our event, March 20th to 24th, and we have 50 amazing speakers, and Melissa is one of them. Melissa, what is your talk about and why people should attend it?
My talk is about how to stop hiding, which is similar to what we're talking to today. How to stop hiding so you can show up online confidently and create the business and the impact that you are really meant to create here. And I think that people should come and attend my talk because I'm so excited to really share more about my story, share more about, my adversity, the things that I've gone through, and how I really had to walk through the fire and do some very deep healing, and how I have learned how to heal my own fears of being visible, my own fears of feeling confident online, so that I can help you do the same and really guide my audience into just understanding that their greatest gift is their story, and their greatest asset is truly some of maybe the hardest things they've ever gone through. And that once you can connect to that, it will help you find that confidence to really show up, whether that's for business, public speaking, following your dreams, just whatever that is, stepping into your purpose on a bigger level.
Love that. Thank you so much. And for those of you watching or listening to this right now, make sure you head over to womenthrivesummit.com, register for your spot. make sure you save your spot for Melissa's talk, because I think this is going to be transformational. If you feel inspired, please make sure you connect with Melissa, and all the information to connect with her is in the show notes. But Melissa, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you if they feel inspired by today's conversation?
Yes, you can find me on my social media channels. You can always direct message me on Instagram. I'm melissa.a.christopher. And on Facebook, I am Melissa Christopher Nash. And you can go over to my website, which is melissachristopher.com.
Beautiful. So do make sure you connect with her. If you watch this, listen to this, let her know how inspiring her story is. I think it's so, so beautiful. I mean, I remember when we first met, when Melissa and I heard her story and her purpose and mission, I said, we got to have you on our summit. And that for me was an instant yes. And just your light, like your presence, your light, your passion for life is what really stands out for me personally. And I hope that our listeners and our audience get to see more of you, because I think it's infectious. Your passion for what you do is certainly infectious.
Thank you so, so much, Mona. That means the world to me.
Thank you everyone for watching. I hope this has inspired your day, and would love for you to also share this with somebody else who you may know that needs this message today. We appreciate you being here, and we look forward to seeing you on another episode. Take care for now. Bye. Did you enjoy this episode? Share it with the world. Make sure to also leave a review and subscribe for future episodes.